What's up, everyone? This is NinjaDeathStrike, bringing you another Pokemon Black and White Wi-Fi battle. My opponent this time is PsychicWhiteTiger. This is the second go for my current team. You can see I've switched out Mew for Thundrus. Thundrus is probably going to go Uber here pretty soon, so I wanted to try it out before it did. And Tiger leads with an Aggron. I'm not sure what it wanted to do, but I wasn't going to give it the chance. I just went for the safe surf. She didn't switch, so I got a free kill on the first turn, and now I'm up 6-5, which is great. In comes Caracosta, and it obviously wants to Shell Smash, since that's really the only thing these guys do. So I go into Crack as Whack, knowing that thanks to my ability Prankster, I'll have a priority Encore, and I can just force her into continually setting up. So I Encore it, and she's forced to go for Shell Smash again. And on this turn, I'm going to go for Stun Spore, because I want to get this thing paralyzed, and even if she switches out, I'll be able to paralyze whatever comes in. Turns out she goes into her Chandelure, so I get the Paralysis, and now I definitely don't want to stay in to eat a fire attack. So I go right for U-turn, even though it's not going to do a lot of damage, and I switch into Nike, my special wall, as Tiger goes for Overheat. And it does a lot of damage, a lot more than I was expecting anyhow, especially for a not very effective attack. So it leads me to believe that this Chandelure is probably spexed. So I'm going to go for Scald here. Again, just going with the safe play. I wasn't really comfortable with this team yet. So you'll see I played this match really, really safe, a lot safer than I normally do. But it turns out okay because I get the burn on Serperior. I'm not sure what it wants to do. I expect a grass move, so I switch into Skarmory, who is 4 times resistant, but it turns out that this is a Perversity Serperior, which hasn't been legally released yet, so I didn't expect that, and I wasn't really happy to see that she brought it, but in the end, it's not a big deal, so I just decided to go with it. I definitely don't want it to get any more set up, though, so I'm going to stay in and go for a Brave Bird. Just in case she leaves it in, I'll be able to kill it, assuming she doesn't have Hidden Power Fire. But she goes back into her Caracosta. So I'm going to stay in here just to see what it wants to do. And if it does Shell Smash again, I'll be able to Whirlwind. But she goes for Hydro Pump, which unfortunately for her misses. And that shows me that that Caracosta carries special moves. So Reuniclus comes in. I know I'm faster, so I take the opportunity to set my rocks up as it goes for Calm Mind. And now thinking that I can survive a Focus Blast, I stay in and go for Whirlwind. And it turns out that was a really risky move because it almost kills me. It does 3/4 damage probably. So that was not a great play, but luckily I'm able to blow it out. And in comes this thing, Alomola. I can't say its name, so for the rest of the match I'm just going to call it Big Love Disc. Anyhow, I know it can't hurt Crow at all. The worst it can do is, I don't know, turn me into a water type, so I take the opportunity to roost up and get back to full health as she goes for Dive, and that's not going to do anything. So I'm definitely safe to stay in and just Whirlwind it out. And Serperior comes back in, so now I'm going to stay in, I believe, and go for the Brave Bird again, just in case she doesn't switch out. But she does. She's going to switch right back out and go into Reuniclus, who takes the Brave Bird fairly well. I'm not sure the EVs on that. Usually they run max defense, though, but it looks like maybe that one didn't, because that did almost half, not quite. But now, I don't want to take a boosted... I don't want to take another Focus Blast, and I don't want to give it a chance to set up. So I'm going to go into Crack as Whack, and Tiger's going to triple switch into Caracosta again, which is fine. Now she triple switches, brings in Caracosta, doesn't like that, switches back out into Chandelure, and I go for the Leech Seed, but it misses unfortunately, so now I have to U-turn out again, and I don't want to go back into Nike just in case she decides to go for Energy Ball, so I go into Hate instead since I know he'll resist either, and I didn't figure she'd go for the Shadow Ball. But even that resistive attack does almost half, so this thing is definitely spexed, and with that ridiculous special attack, it's going to be hitting for a lot of damage every time it attacks. And for that reason, I decided to go with the safe Surf here, even though Dragon Pulse or even Psychic would have definitely been a better choice, but I was just kind of scared of it. I didn't want to stay in and take more damage. So I made an overly cautious play, which kind of set me back a little bit. But I know I'm safe to bring in Crow again, and I expected her to wish, and so I don't want whatever she wants to get the wish to get the wish. So I'm going to go for Whirlwind. She switches in Caracosta, trying to get it back to full health, and I blow it away, and then hilariously, Big Love Disc gets dragged back in to catch its own wish, and since it was almost at full health anyhow, that's fine. I don't care. So now she's going to withdraw that, go into Chandelure, and I believe I just Whirlwind again. No, I Roost. I go ahead and take the opportunity to get back up to full health. But obviously I can't stay in now and take a fire attack, so I have to switch out. Going to go back into Gastrodon this time, just in case she decides to go for Shadow Ball. But she goes for Heat Wave again and gets a crit, which does over half even on Nike. So that was really unfortunate. Luckily for me, I'm going to have a free turn here to recover up, but I would have preferred to have been able to attack on this turn. Anyhow, Caracosta comes in, and now that I know it's a special variant, I'm not too scared of it. So I believe I stay in here and go for an Earth Power. Oh, no, I get Frozen instead. I do stay in, but I get Frozen. I forgot. Getting Frozen is kind of going to be a running theme with this team. I had a chain of 4 or 5 battles in a row where I got Frozen in every one. So expect to see a lot of this coming up. Anyhow, I obviously can't stay in now, so I go into Cracker's Whack in case she decides to Shell Smash. But she brings Chandelure back in, which is great because now I can predict the fire attack. You turn out and go right back into Nike to take that fire attack. And for those of you who don't know, in Gen 5, if you're frozen and you get hit with any fire move or Scald, you'll automatically thaw. So I was able to predict her fire attack and use it to my advantage, which is awesome because now I'm unthawed and I'm free to recover off that damage I took before. So Chandelure's trapped. It can't switch out since Stealth Rock will kill it again next time. So I'm free to get back to full health and then take it out at my leisure. So Chandelure goes down, which is great because that thing hits like a truck, even on my tank. I'm definitely glad to have it out of the way. Unfortunately, Reuniclus comes back in, and it's about this point that I realize I really don't have a whole lot on this team to deal with Reuniclus. I'm going to have a hard time taking it down, especially if it gets a chance to set up. So I predicted it to try to set up here, and it does. As I go out to Cracker's Whack, I'm able to encore it. And I believe here I make a really dumb move and go for Leech Seed, thinking that I'll at least be able to sap its health and completely forgetting about Magic Guard. But luckily for me, it turns out that this Reuniclus instead must have Overcoat and not Magic Guard. I should have noticed with the Stealth Rock damage anyhow that it didn't have Magic Guard, but I didn't. And fortunately for me, Leech Seed is able to actually do its job. Now I go for Stun Spore in case it wanted to stay in. Instead, Big Love Disc comes back in. I would have rather had Toxic on that thing, but you know, Perilous is alright, so I'll take what I can get. And I'm going to switch out because I know she's going to want to set up a Wish again and try to pass it off, and I need to prevent that from happening so that I can keep her sweepers at a lower amount of health. So she does set up a Wish. Again, I'm just going to Whirlwind. Caracosta comes in. Caracosta gets blown out, and Reuniclus comes in to get the Wish, but it's already at full health, or almost full health after the Stealth Rock damage, so it doesn't really matter. But now I have to deal with it again. So I decide to stay in, and I believe I just Whirlwinded out. I guess I thought that she would set up there, and I wanted to blow her out before she could do anything. So Caracosta comes back in, and now I'm going to predict her just to try to want to kill off Crow. So I'm going to switch into Nike and hopefully absorb that Hydro Pump that I think is going to be coming at me. And it turns out that's exactly what she does. So I get a Storm Drain boost, which puts me at +1 special attack. And now I'm going to reveal that I have Earth Power. I haven't shown her that I have it yet, so she probably doesn't have any reason to fear leaving Caracosta in. But at +1 and with a super effective, even though Caracosta probably has Solid Rock, it's not going to be enough to save it. And I'm able to take down another sweeper. So I'm looking pretty good, but I know in the back of my head that at some point I still have to deal with Reuniclus, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. Superior comes in here, and I decide just to sack Nike. He's done plenty in this match. He's been really helpful, but there's not a whole else, a lot he can contribute. Sorry. So I just let him in to die, and now I'm able to bring in Lennon and revenge kill with the Mach Punch. So Reuniclus comes back in again, which means I have to switch out since I can't deal with it. Once again, I go into Crow, basically now just as fodder. I know I'll be able to take the Psychic, and I'm just going to go for Brave Bird this turn, seeing how much damage it did. I know it's going to take a big chunk off of its health, and I'm hoping that I'll actually kill myself with recoil so I can do a bunch of damage and then get a free switch in. Unfortunately, that backfires. I end up living with 9 hit points, and so now I'm just going to go for a Whirlwind in case she decides to go for Focus Blast and misses, even though she would have been better off going for Psychic since it obviously would have killed. But she does go for Focus Blast, and that works out great for me because it misses because it's Focus Blast, and I'm able to blow her out and get rid of her boost. So Big Love Disc comes back in, and now I believe I'm going to roost up since... Oh, no, I switch out. I take this opportunity... right. I predicted her to go for a Wish or switch back into Reuniclus. So this is the only chance I have to get Sinbad, my Thundrus, in safely. And that's what happens. She switches into Reuniclus. I know that I should be able to take 1 attack, so I go ahead and Nasty Plot as she goes for the Psychic, and that is going to do a buttload of damage, easily over 2/3. And my only chance here is just to really hope that a +2 Thunderbolt is going to be enough to take it out. And luckily for me it is. I wasn't sure because I know Reuniclus is really bulky, but not bulky enough to take a +2 Thunderbolt from a 125 base power attack. And that leaves her only with Big Love Disc, who's definitely going to die to a Thunderbolt. And that turned out to be a really long match. I think it was almost 50 turns. Lots of prediction and a good test for this team. So stay tuned, guys. I'll have more coming your way shortly. Bye.